Hello, welcome to JP Arts, and happy Pokemon Day. I became a Pokemon fan actually only about 4 years ago, and Pokemon Unite was actually the first Pokemon game I ever played. After playing it, I fell in love with the franchise, and started collecting cards and playing more games, and now I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I'm really familiar with the series and its Pokemon. To celebrate Pokemon Day, I decided to pick my favorite Pokemon from each generation, and draw them all together. The problem is, it wouldn't be easy to pick my favorite Pokemon because I like a lot pretty closely, so I decided not to include starter Pokemon or legendaries. One, to make it easier for me to pick, and make it more interesting because, to be honest, a lot of my favorites from each region would probably end up being starters and legendaries. Also, I could save stars and legendaries for another video, maybe. Also, since I'm drawing them all in the same pick, I need to make sure they all fit in this picture, so that did affect my decision on some of the Pokemon I'd choose. But for the most part, the ones I picked are my favorite. Let's start off with Gen 1, the games that started it all. Gen 1 definitely has the most recognizable Pokemon in the series, and probably the most popular ones. But besides the starters in this game, there are really only a few Pokemon I like a lot. Though I love Pikachu and Eevee, I didn't want to be basic and just pick one of the most popular Pokemon, and besides I think there are two others from this region I like more than these two. These are Dragonite and Gengar, and after thinking for a bit I decided I like Gengar better. I just think Gengar is such a fun Pokemon. It's just a perfect mix of creepy and funny, and I love it. Moving on to Gen 2. Pokemon Gold and Silver are not games I know much about, as I haven't played them, but I know most of the Pokemon pretty well. There are a few I really like, being Tyranitar, Steelix, Scizor, but the Pokemon I like best from this region is actually Wooper. For some reason I just love this Pokemon so much. I think he's so funny and I love axolotls. Gen 3 is interesting. To be honest, there's not too many Pokemon I find interesting from this generation, but out of the couple I do like, I picked Absol. I first saw Absol in Pokemon Unite, and I just think it's really cool. The other Pokemon I considered were Flygon or Metagross, but I already picked some bigger Pokemon in the later generations, so I wouldn't be able to fit them all in the picture. Gen 4 is actually, besides Gen 9, the generation I'm most familiar with. I got Brilliant Diamond not long after becoming a Pokemon fan, and though the game kinda stunk, and I regret buying it, I love the Pokemon from it. It was pretty hard to choose the Pokemon from this region, but in the end I decided on Garchomp. I almost picked Lucario though. I really like the concept of Garchomp, and it's a great Pokemon. So though I said no legendaries, I didn't say no mythicals. So for Gen 5 I picked Victini. This was a no-brainer for me, as I love Victini. It has a special place in my heart, because the first ever Pokemon card deck I got was the Victini V Battle deck, so I became a big fan of Victini after getting that. If I was to include starters, Greninja would definitely be my pick for Gen 6, but since I'm not, I had to pick a different Pokemon. I ended up picking Sylveon, though after looking through the Pokemon for a second time before making this video, I realized there were some other Pokemon I definitely liked better, but since I already finished the drawing, it was kinda too late. But I probably would have picked Aegislash instead. Gen 7, in my opinion, has a mix of some great Pokemon and some odd ones. But one Pokemon I absolutely love and almost forgot was from Sun and Moon is Mimikyu. I love the mystery of what Mimikyu looks like under the rag, and I think his Pikachu costume looks so goofy. Gen 8 has some pretty good Pokemon, but this one was easy for me. I love Dragapult, and it's not just my favorite Pokemon for this generation, but it's definitely one of my favorite Pokemon overall. Now, finally, Gen 9, Scarlet and Violet. Besides these games' flaws, I love them and they are my favorite Pokemon games. I definitely prefer the open world style than the very linear gameplay of almost every other Pokemon game. I just think they need to work on some things for the next mainline game, which I hope will also be open world. Also, this game has some really good Pokemon. My favorites are definitely all starters and legendaries, but since I can't pick those, it was kinda tricky to pick my favorite. In the end, I decided on Palmy. One, because it's just so adorable, and two, because I need a small Pokemon to fit in the drawing. And at last, here's the finished drawing. It's not my best piece of art, and I wanted to add shading, but I started this a little too late and didn't have time before Pokemon Day was here. Let me know what you think about my choices, and I would love to hear your favorite Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more content like this, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. God bless.